Hello, my soapy friends, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Lissa, also known as the Soap Chef on this channel, where we make all things with a rather good lather. I'm a professional soap maker, aromatherapist, and bath bomb expert for over 2 decades. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Well, hello, my soapy friends. We are back at Creation Station, and we are going to make a wonderful deodorant today that does not contain talc or aluminum or baking soda. Baking soda is not good for a lot of people. It's very, very irritating, especially when you put it underneath your armpits. So no bueno on the baking soda. I've got everything lined up here that we are going to use in this natural deodorant. But the very first thing that I want to do is I want to infuse some herbs into some coconut oil. So everything that I have here was chosen for the antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial properties, and neutralizing of odors. So in here I've got my coconut oil, and I am infusing in this coconut oil rosemary, sage, neem, fenugreek, and witch hazel. That's all going to be infused in here. I'm going to put this on the lowest setting on my crock pot and just let that go for about an hour. We'll come back and we'll start discussing all the rest of these ingredients.
A few moments later.
Okay, you guys, we are back. All of our herbs have been infused in our coconut oil. They've been strained out. A little bit more coconut oil has been added so that we get the correct amount, because a lot of that oil gets absorbed in those herbs and we toss those herbs off to the side. Let's just get going here with all these other ingredients, though. We're going to be adding some shea butter, candelilla wax, cetyl alcohol, and this really cool ingredient called zinc ricinoleate, which chemically traps and absorbs the odor molecules that are formed during your bacterial decomposition of the perspiration. Really cool ingredient. Next, we're going to be adding kokum butter. Then we are going to be adding diatomaceous earth. This is a really great ingredient as well. It is formed from the fossils of the remains of algae. It's naturally deodorizing, and the absorption, people use that a lot of times like for kitty litter. It helps to anchor scent. If you want to use that in cold process soap, it helps to do that. But we're using it for the deodorizing and the absorption properties. What else? We've got Fuller's Earth. That's just a clay, but it's a really great absorber. Let me turn to the back here. So then next we've got our magnesium hydroxide. So this is used in the cosmetic industry as an absorbent or neutralizing agent, and it helps to control your pH levels. That's a really great ingredient for deodorants. Next, we're going to be putting in our zinc oxide, and that is used for soothing and anti-chafing. Arrowroot powder, which is also absorbent and reduces the greasy feel, and kind of leaves a nice silky powdery feel afterwards. And then lastly, we're going to be adding lemon powder. Lemon is a great natural bacterial killer, and it also neutralizes odors. I see a lot of people just taking a raw lemon and rubbing that underneath their armpits. Please don't do that. That's going to irritate the snot out of your poor pits. Don't do that. We're just using the powder because, again, it is a natural bacteria killer, and it's really great. The first thing that we have to do, we've got all of our oils, our coconut oil. The herbs are infused in that. Let's put that off to the side. Let's bring a new thing in here, because the first thing we have to start getting done is this candelilla wax along with this zinc ricinoleate. Those have to be melted down by themselves first before we start adding anything else, because the melt point on both of those is extremely high. So let's get that going first, and then we can start adding everything else. Be back in a minute. Okay, our zinc ricinoleate and our candelilla wax is all melted down now. So we're going to add our shea butter, our cetyl alcohol, which is going to provide a nice little slip, and our kokum butter. All right, let's go melt these down now. Okay, all of the butters are melted down. Let's just add them into the other pool of our coconut oil that has been infused with those beautiful herbs. It's going to get solid on you pretty quickly, so it's a pretty good idea to have like a hot water bath at the ready for this mixture. the candelilla wax as well as that zinc retinoliate definitely is going to solidify relatively quickly. All right, let's get some apricot kernel into the pool. Now we're going to start adding some of our powders. So let's add our diatomaceous earth, our Fuller's earth, magnesium chloride, zinc oxide, arrowroot powder, and lemon powder. Let's get in here and whisk. You could get in here with your immersion blender if you'd like. I'm not going to, it's just going to make too much of a mess. But I am going to go ahead and check my temperatures to see if I can add my vitamin E yet. We're at 125, so not quite yet. We have to hold off just a little bit. We've got our vitamin E, we've got isopropyl myristate, that's going to add a little bit of slip, and then we've got our essential oil blend. So give us just a few seconds to let this come down to temperature just a little bit so we can add the rest of these ingredients. Then we're going to pour them into containers. We're going to be done at that point. Okay, the temperature has come down enough so we can add our vitamin E. Again, it's a good idea to keep a nice hot water bath going. Like I've got my crock pot over there with the water in there, and then I'll just stick this in and just kind of move everything around a little bit until it loosens up some. So there's our vitamin E. Let's put some isopropyl myristate in there. Again, that's going to add a little bit of a slip. So when you go to apply this, there's not going to be a whole lot of drag. And lastly, we're going to be adding essential oils. Be careful which essential oils you're using. I would very much steer clear of anything that is citrus. That's going to just burn your underarms like crazy, especially us ladies who are shaving our underarms. That's going to be a very unpleasant feeling. I am using tea tree, rosemary, sage, and cedarwood. Please go up on EO Calc and figure out how much of each one of those that you need. I'm using a total of 1% in this batch, and this is a 1 pound batch. All right, we are fluid enough to go ahead and pour now. I've already got all of my containers sanitized. Here's the bottom of it. You actually fill from the bottom. The bottom cap goes on like that. Okay, and then the top, has got this little round dome that sits in there, just like so. And so that makes the top portion nice and round, which is really cool. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you get this all the way down. Once you get that bottom on, you want to screw it down. You don't want it all the way up like this, because then you're going to not really have too much product in there. You want this all the way down. All right, so now we're just going to start pouring. Okay, let's let these set up for a couple of seconds. We'll come back and we'll give it a little try. Okay, I have gone ahead and put the caps on all of these, and then I've got one that I'm going to be taking home for myself. Let's go ahead and undo the top, and we'll take that dome off of the top. All right, so you can see it's nice and rounded. So you use this bottom to screw this up. Comes all the way up, or you can bring it all the way down again. But let's try a little bit. It's got a really, really nice glide to it, so there's no drag whatsoever. Oh, it smells really good with the rosemary, sage, tea tree, and just a little splash of some cedar wood. This is going to go into my men's line. That's why they're the black containers. But it's very, very nice. It's not greasy or oily. It's very moisturizing and hydrating, and it's going to work fabulously because of all of these ingredients. Oh my, that's really delightful, you guys. All right, let me go ahead and put the cap back on here. This is going to go home with me. I literally just ran out of my deodorant the other day. I tried making some deodorant last year. It was a recipe from a different creator. And one thing I have to say to you guys is when you are making your formulations, just do your tweaks, do your research about shelf life as far as your oils and butters are concerned. The recipe that I followed last year from a different creator, the shelf life of the oils that were used in that person's formula, it's a very, very short shelf life. And so they turned rancid in less than 6 months. So I had to throw them all out, as a matter of fact. So just pay attention to that. Again, I'm going to be putting this video and the recipe to this up on the member section of the channel. We also have a Patreon. You can go right over there. A lot of you are having trouble if you are on an iPhone or an iPad with finding the join button here to be a member of my channel. So that's why I created the Patreon for those of you that don't have any other way to access. For whatever reason, YouTube took away that ability from Apple because apparently Apple was going to be charging 30% of the revenue. So YouTube said, no bueno, we're taking that option away. So all your people that have iPhones and iPads, oh well, they're not going to be able to see this join button. You can see it on a desktop, you can see it on a laptop, you cannot see it on your phone or an iPad. So just go over to Patreon. The link is in the description below. And again, this video with the recipe will be put up on the member side of the channel as well as Patreon. But please, please, I'm going to ask you guys, please be patient when it comes to me uploading the videos on the member section, on the paid section. I'm in the middle of my really, really busy season. And if it doesn't happen immediately, I apologize for that. It will happen. Just please be patient with me, okay? I appreciate that. All right. Wow, this really feels nice. Oh, I can't stop smelling it. Okay. If you guys like the video, please give it a thumbs up, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things that we ask you to do all the time. And until next time, you guys, be kind, stay humble. Please take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon.